Hello students, a very good morning. So students, now today we will start the new chapter, that is kinetic theory of gases and behavior of gases. So here first of all, what we are going to do in this chapter, simply we are going to study about the gases here, and gases are classified into two parts here, that is perfect gas and real gas. So perfect gas, in that one a lot of assumptions we are taking for our simplification, for the simplified study of ours. We are taking a lot of assumptions, and that is given by the kinetic theory. So this is all we are going to do in this chapter, one by one. Every properties of the gas we will discuss. Kinetic property means whenever the gas is in motion, then which kind of properties it is showing, we will discuss all that one. So the chapter we will start with a brief introduction about the gases. First, the gases has nature, for expanding nature, that is not particular volume, also that's density is continuously changing. So this is all the nature, means intermolecular separation between the gases are very large. So this is all the properties of the gases that you know already. Here to understand the gases, particles, Dalton theory of the molecules that is given. So it means that gases are made up of a large number of molecules, and two molecules are separated by some distance, and that is known as intermolecular separation. So here to study about the gases, we will adopt this molecular theory, means we will see the gases are made up of a large number of molecules. So this is all basic, I think, clear. After that one, let's see the chapter that is started from the ideal gas or perfect gas. So what is now the ideal gas or perfect gas? So by definition, if you have to define ideal gas or perfect gas, that is the gas which strictly obeys gas laws such as Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac law. So these laws we will discuss later also. So gas that is satisfying these all laws, that is known as perfect gas. Other following characteristics of the ideal gas is, first, the size of the molecules of ideal gas is 0, means the molecular dimension of the ideal gas, that is 0. So that's why whenever they will just go in any vessel, they will not occupy any space, means the whole of the space of the cylinder will be available for equally for all the gaseous molecules. Second one, the gas particles, obviously if they have no dimension, they are just like the point mass bodies. There is no force of attraction or repulsion amongst the molecules of ideal gas, means two ideal gas molecules don't attract or repel each other, means there is no force of interaction between them. While there is no force of interaction, then no particular arrangement or no particular, you can say, the configuration of the system has always all the gas molecules are in motion only. So that's why the ideal gas molecule have only one kind of energy, that is the kinetic energy. They don't have potential energy. So their internal energy is fully kinetic. So this is all now the properties of ideal gas. Means here we are taking the assumption to make it ideal, that is they are like point masses, they don't interact with each other, but in real that is not possible. Molecules have some dimension, they are also interacting with each other by molecular forces. So that we will just correct later, but first with these assumptions, as our study is simplified now, so we are taking that assumptions for our studies. Next, after this one, the topic that is the behavior of gases. So the behavior of gases is what? If you will see the solid and liquid, you will compare the gases with them, then simple, it is very easier to understand the properties of gases. This is because the molecules in the gas that are very far apart, and mutual interaction among the molecules are negligible except when they collide. So whenever they are colliding, only that time they are interacting, but also in collision we are taking the assumption that in perfect gas, that is they are colliding perfectly elastic way. So in perfectly elastic way, whenever they are colliding, only their direction will change, there is no change in their energy. Next one, at low pressure and high temperature, means much above the temperature which gas liquefy or solidify, the gas follow simple equation, that is it is following, and this equation is known as perfect gas equation or ideal gas equation here. So it means at low temperature and low pressure and high temperature, real gases also behave like the ideal gas. They start to do the same procedure as ideally we are just taking into the consideration. Now next one here, after this, if you will see, some of the laws are given here to understand the perfect gas or ideal gas here. So one by one, if the laws you will see to understand this one, that is now the first one, that is the Boyle's law. So let's start with the discussion on the different laws that just tells us about the behavior of the gases. So Boyle's law, what it is saying? It is saying that at constant temperature, the product of pressure and volume is always constant, or you can say at constant temperature, pressure is inversely proportional to its volume. So it means that we can write P is inversely proportional to 1 by V. We can write also, you can just calculate this one from here. At constant temperature, you can write this PV is equal to nRT equal, obviously it will be constant because number of molecules, number of moles in the gas, that will be constant. R is called gas constant, that is also constant. Temperature is here I am saying that is constant. So all these things will be constant, so this will happen. Constant value means PV is equal to constant, and that can be written as P is inversely proportional to 1 by V. So simple, in the equation, the ideal gas equation, if we will put temperature constant, and that becomes Boyle's law. So Boyle's law is establishing a relationship between pressure and volume. So as this equation you can see the ideal gas equation that is derived by the help of these laws that is given by the experiment. So Boyle has just done the experiment. He has observed that the pressure of the gas that depends on the volume inversely when we will keep the temperature constant. Means if pressure you will start to increase, then due to increase in pressure as intermolecular separation of the gaseous molecule starts to decrease, then their volume will start to decrease that time. And with decrease in pressure, intermolecular separation will start to increase and volume will start to increase in that way. Now the second one more thing, if you will just plot the graph for the this equation, that is Boyle's law. If you will plot the graph for ideal gas, then that is ideal gas and real gas, for both one you can plot the graph. So for the ideal gas graph, this would be this type of graph here. On this axis we have taken that is PV upon NT. So from here this is PV upon NT we have taken. So obviously that will be equal to R here, and on this one we have taken this axis, we have taken pressure. So this pressure is in atmospheric, and this one PV upon NT, that's unit is joule per mole per Kelvin. So here as obviously when PV is equal to NT we will take, that will be equal to a constant. So this type of relationship we need to obtain. So this one is the graph for the ideal gas. But for the real gas, if you will see at different temperatures, now if we will start to vary the temperature, then that time this kind of graph we will start to observe here. So this kind of graph you will start to obtain. This is T1, T2, T3 temperature, where T1 is greater than T2, T2 is greater than T3. So this is the PV curve that the PV by NT curve and P curve. Means here for the ideal gas, if we will calculate PV by NT, then that should be independent of the pressure. Whatever is the pressure, that should be always constant, and that constant will have the value equal to R. But for the real gas, whenever we will start to increase the temperature, then with increase in temperature, this factor will start to change with pressure, and continuously this kind of graph we will start to obtain. Also we can plot PV curve for the particular temperatures. So let me just draw it here. Now if you will plot the simple PV curve, so on this axis if you will take pressure. So as pressure is inversely proportional to volume, means with increase in volume, pressure will start to decrease here. So this kind of decrement in the pressure at different temperatures we have seen. So this starts to deviate in this way. So this kind of variation in pressure continuously, the curve you can see that starts to be flat whenever the temperature will increase here. Now these are the different temperature starts to obviously increase. So this is now the T1 temperature. This is our T2 temperature, T3 temperature and T4 temperature. So where T1 is greater than T2, T2 is greater than T3, T3 is greater than T4. So this kind of a graph between pressure and volume you will obtain continuously. If you will start to increase the temperature, the pressure and volume graph will start to be more linear than the curve graph. So this kind of observations is obtained, means also Boyle's law is deviating at some point from the experimental observation. So at higher temperature Boyle's law fulfilled in very great way. So that's why you can see at higher temperature, as P is inversely proportional to B, a straight line, this kind of line we should obtain, and that will obviously denote the ideal gas. But the real gas you will see for the temperatures it is varying in this way, means it is not showing the complete inversal relationship. Means P is directly proportional to 1 by B. This relation, this graph is not following, it is giving some kind of curved structure. So for that one obviously the equation should be changed. So that is changed for the real gas. But for ideal gas, this kind of situation you will obtain. So you can see now at higher temperature we are seeing real gases starts to follow the ideal gas. So that's why in starting I have told you at higher temperature they follow the properties of the ideal gas only. At lower temperature they are not following. So this graph is predicting that also. Now after this one, we see at the first I think case is there, 1 by 1 ideal gas and real gas both I am telling you at the single place, so that you can understand how the ideal gas is different than the real gases that is present outside to us, because we are surrounded by the real gases, not by the ideal gases. Ideal gas is perfect, only a hypothetical gas, that hypothesis we have taken into the consideration for our study only, to simplify our study, and after that we have made corrections to understand the real gases. So that's why with ideal gas equation I am trying to tell you how the real gases are deviated. The second equation, the second laws that is given to understand the behavior of gases or ideal gas, that is the Charles law. So let's see now the Charles law second. So what is now the Charles law is saying? According to the Charles law here, at constant pressure, the volume of the gas that is directly proportional to temperature. So it means now V is directly proportional to T. Also you can prove it by the perfect gas equation, but as these laws was independently done by the experiment, after that perfect gas equation we have derived by using these laws. So let's see in the experimental format. In experimental format it is saying when pressure of the gas we will keep constant, then volume will completely depend on temperature and it will be directly proportional to temperature. Means if we will start to increase the temperature, then obviously we know with increase in temperature the kinetic energy of the gases will increase, and due to increment in kinetic energy intermolecular separation will increase, and whenever intermolecular separation will increase, then volume of the gas that will obviously increase there. So this one I think law is now clear. So according to this law we need a graph that is show the linear relationship between P and T. So the graph is plotted for the different gases or at different pressures. For single gas also you can plot. Suppose on this one temperature is taken, on this one volume is taken. So the graph for the ideal gas that should be obtained in such a way, because this is directly proportionalship relation. But for the real gases it has been seen that the real gases that starts to show the deviation, in such kind of deviation they starts to show, they are so the real gas equations have the graph of this kind, or also this kind of graph they have, similarly this kind of graph they have shown. So for this one you can see this is different pressure, where P1 is greater than P2, P2 is greater than P3, and in that case the you can say the comparative equation or comparative gas to the or line to the ideal gas we have seen that is for the lower pressure. So at low pressure you can see the graph is more linear than the higher pressure, because at higher pressure its deviation is greater than the lower pressure. So real gases starts to follow the ideal gas at low pressure, and also before that one we have discussed that they start to follow the ideal gas at high temperature. So low pressure, high temperature is the characteristics of the real gas when they become just like the perfect gas or ideal gas. So we can understand also it by the graph, and you can see now how they are deviated at different pressures. Means if pressure will start to increase, the deviation of the gases will start to increase. After this one, this kind of deviation you can also see that will be deviated a lot from the perfect gas line or perfect gas equation. So this equation is perfectly satisfied for the ideal gas. P is directly proportional to T. But whenever we will start to study the case of real gases, then this will not be satisfied. Some of the other equations we will need it to understand it. I think this is clear, because here one by one only for the ideal gas equations we are seeing, and we have just made the corrections in ideal gas equations to understand the real gas equation. Now the third equation, let's see that third equation is saying the relationship between, now up to now P and B relationship, P and T relationship we have seen. Now the pressure temperature relationship is left. So at constant volume, how the pressure is related to temperature, that is given by the Gay-Lussac law. So according to the Gay-Lussac law, the third law, let's see that. So this one, the law is establishing a relationship experimentally between pressure and temperature. So it is saying that whenever the pressure will increase, then temperature will increase accordingly. So it means that at constant volume, pressure is directly proportional to temperature. This law is saying this one. So it is establishing a relationship between pressure and temperature simply. So at low pressure, the temperature will be also low, or at high pressure, temperature will be high. So temperature and pressure relationship that is established by this law. Now we can just write down ideal gas equation by using the three laws. So let's write down the three laws at one place here. The first law, that was the Boyle's law, that was P is inversely proportional to P. The second law was Charles' law. According to that one, P is directly proportional to T. And the third law here, that was P is directly proportional to T. So let's write in the different format. It is saying that this PV is equal to constant. This law is saying P by T is equal to, you can take P by T this side. So this will be is equal to now constant. And the third one is saying again P by T is equal to constant. Now if you will just combine these three laws together. So these three laws together is saying now PV by T is equal to constant here. Here PV by T is equal to constant, or you can just calculate write down it by using only these two. So this is saying PV by T is equal to constant. Now this constant is obtained as this is called now the gas constant, and we can write now this is PV is equal to RT. You can derive the equation for the ideal gas easily by using these three experimental concept. And here if this is for 1 mole, if n number of moles of the gas we have, PV is equal to nRT, this equation we will have for that case. So this is, I think, first of all the behavior of gases and how can we understand the ideal gas and its variation with different quantities, like how the pressure, temperature, volumes are interrelated to each other for the gases, that we have understood by using these three laws now. Now after this one, let's see the second part of the this chapter, and that starts with the kinetic theory of the gases. That is also one chapter name. So let's see now the kinetic theory. So kinetic theory is what? Is it exactly a theory that is given to study the gases and also to make the real gas as the perfect gas. So under some circumstances, under some conditions, the perfect real gas will start to behave just like the perfect gas. And this kinetic theory has taken the assumptions assumptions to just convert it real gas into the ideal gas. So let's see one by one which of the assumptions is given by the kinetic theory. The first assumption is a gas consists of a large number of atoms or molecules and which are perfectly elastic spheres. So first it is also defining, or it is giving the nature of the gas. Means the gases consist of large number of molecules and each molecules are elastic spheres. Elastic spheres means they cannot destroy their shapes. Whenever they will interact with any other molecule, then after interaction if their shapes will be distorted, they will completely regain their shape and size. So they are elastic spheres. Now next one, for a given gas they are identical in all respects, but for different gases they are different. Means for a single gas, for all molecules you will see that will be identical in nature. So whenever one molecule will be studied, then automatically the study will be applicable to all gas molecules of the single gas. But whenever the different gases you will see, different gases will have different molecular dimensions. The second one, the molecules of the gas are in a state of increment state of, you can say, the random motion, and they move in all possible directions with this different speeds. So this is now saying in the gas the molecules are moving in zigzag motion or a random motion, that is also called Brownian motion. And also while moving they are moving in every different possible directions. Means if you will see this type of, suppose in any container the gas is filled, gas molecules they are coming, they are colliding with any other one, again they are changing their direction. So definitely they are just moving in different directions. So zigzag motions they are just doing. This kind of motion is known as zigzag, random, or you can say also it is Brownian motion, because it was studied by the Brown first. Now the next concept here, the size of the gas molecule is very small as compared to the distance between them. So that's why we can neglect the size of the molecules here. We can take that the molecules are just like the point masses. The fourth one, the molecules do not exert any force of repulsion or attraction on each other except during collision, but their energy is completely kinetic. So that I have told you already while discussing about the gases in the introduction. The next one, the collision of the molecules with themselves and with the walls of the vessel are perfectly elastic. Means while colliding with the wall, they will just change only their direction, they will not just impart any kind of energy, or they will not lose any kind of energy there. So their kinetic energy will always retain, they will continuously move. Even at absolute zero temperature, the ideal gas will start to vibrate also, they will continuously be in vibration. Next, there is no concentration of the molecule at any point inside the container. Means molecular density for all gases is uniform. Just now I told you, as the point masses of the gases are taken as the point mass, then they will not cover any space in the container. So all the space will be available for all gases molecules equally here. Next, the molecule moves in a straight line between two collisions. So you can see between two collisions, means between the collision between two molecules, they are always traversing in straight line, and they will change their path, and again after that they will start to move in straight line until the collision will not occur. And the distance traveled, average distance traveled between, or simple distance traveled between any two collision, that successive collision, that is known as free path. And if you will take the average of all free path, all collisions, that is called mean free path. And the time taken to collide from one molecule to other one, that is known as free time. And the average of all collisions time, that will be known as mean free time. So this is again assumptions to understand the collision and the path traveled by them. Next one, the collisions are almost instantaneous. That is, the time of collision between two molecules is negligible as compared to the, you can say, the mean free time. So means the mean free time means the time taken to come from here to here by the molecules, that will be greater in comparison to the times that will be spent in collision. So collision is very instant, and that's why that is perfectly elastic collision. So students, in this class up to this one only we will just discuss with I think the introduction of gases, kinetic theory and behavior of gases, and how the equations they are satisfying them, that is clear now. So let's end our class here with this discussion. So thank you students for today.